All right, I'm Beck Lane, and this is Catalyst & Company, where I have a whopping toothache. I need dental work done in the worst way, and I have this, one tooth is absolutely killing me. One of the remaining few on the top of my, jaw, top of my mandible. Ooh. Anywho, so you have to excuse me. Anywho, I actually was asked, so I'm Beck Lane, this is Catalyst & Company, where we're catalysts in each other's lives as well as our own, and we work at being artists, being the artists we've always wanted to be. And the fellowship applications, the grading that we've been talking about in the past several videos is part of that. You know, we apply for things and we don't, oh my God, this hurts. We don't know, and I don't have any aspirin, or I would grind an aspirin into it right now, but that's going to have to wait. Anywho, you know, we fill out applications and we don't always understand why, whether it's for, or how, rather. They're for fellowships, they're for shows, they're for whatever, exhibits. We don't oftentimes know how. I know I didn't know how. I was literally throwing spaghetti at the walls for decades, just trying, or for years trying, and not quite, I guess not quite getting it right all the time. But it's all, I mean, it is subjective. Like people say, art is subjective. It's usually, that is usually used as an excuse, that stupid quote. But two, it is true when we're writing out applications. I think when people say, I feel, when people say, you know, art is subjective, it is quite typically used as an excuse for artists that need time to develop, and they're not very good, or they're weak. And people who I have witnessed over the decades and the millions of times people have said this, what they really mean is, let's be kind to this person and let's hope they get better one day. And so I'm sitting here with these applications, and with more applications, I was asked to please grade some more artists that have applied for this fellowship, because I did such a great job the first time. The first 50, I have more. And we ended the first 50 applications on a high note with this outstanding artist, who got a 100 in grading based on the grading system that I was given, and would in life anyway. It was just brilliant. And again, maybe one day I'll be able to share those with you, because I have kept notes on all the artists in my little notebook. I have kept notes on all the applicants. I may share some of their names with you at a later date. I will be doing like artist salons about my experience grading these applicants in my artist residency that starts March 1st and ends at the end of April. Okay, blah, blah, blah. That said, I am now grading more applicants, again, because I did such a great job the first time. However, these are not even close to being in the 100 grading range. They might, if they're lucky, they might make it to 50. And I took the weakest applicants, their collaborations, and I took the weakest application or applicants, and they really only ended up with a 5. And this is important. I'm not saying, oh, they were terrible and let's talk about how horrible they were. It's not that. It's not the disappointment. It's not about the disappointment. It is about the lesson we can take away here. All of these applicants with their projects really need better direction. They need more time to work together to develop a project or projects and then submit samples. And I have one team who they're very fond of each other. They're very close. I have actually two teams like this. They're very fond of each other. They're very close. They have very close, very, very close ties. But the work isn't there. They haven't put the time and effort in to develop anything of depth. It's just, let us come do this project, which is fine. But the artists, you have to have some skill. The level I'm trying to describe vaguely, it's super beginner level. I have artists that I mentor, and you know, not that I'm the end all be all, but I have artists that I mentor with the understanding that I know I'm not the end all be all. And some of these artists, the artists that I like to champion the most, the artists that I get behind and champion and I have the closest relationships with and I mentor, are the ones that not only listen when I'm speaking and take what I'm saying into consideration, but do the work. They do the work. And I watch them online, and they grind and they grind and they grind and they keep trying. They're trying to find their way. I'm not mentoring people who already know where they want to be, you know, where they want to be, what they're going to do. And, you know, they've got this magnificent body of work and they're solid in it. And now they're going to take off. It's people who haven't quite found their way. And they just need to be championed. But they work and 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 they submit to shows and they do things. Sadly, I'm looking at applicants who started working together 2-3 years ago and aren't very clear. I'm actually looking at one team that's been working together for a decade, and their stuff is okay, and I can see where they came together, where they work together as a team, sort of. But there's nothing earth-shattering here. There's nothing really innovative. There's nothing technically even interesting. Falling under these, I'm talking about the 4 different categories where I have to grade people. Technically, none of the work that I've seen from any of the applicants has been earth-shattering. The scope of work, who it's going to does the applicant's work engage with themes, problems, or ideas that have relevance beyond the individual? Kinda. But it feels like all of them are staring at their own belly buttons, trying to figure out how to fit into the wider world instead of looking at the wider world and say, how can we reflect this subject that we want to approach? Innovation and originality is not here in any of the applicants. This is just disappointing. And creative clarity. They are kind of clear about what they want to do with the fellowship. But again, their projects are either largely undefined or wishy-washy. And so I really want to say to all of them, go home and have a think and reapply, but also go home and work. Present examples of what you want to do with this fellowship. And because there were collaborations that are only a handful, it might seem as though I'm pitting one against another. I'm not. That's not my job as a juror. My job as a juror is to grade each application individually. But as kind of a mentor here, trying to explain to you what jurors in fellowships or people reading your applications might see. This is really sad. This is really, really sad. Mainly because none of the applicants have depth. All of them are using images and ideas and tropes that have been used before and trying to... They either believe that they kind of came up with something original, or they're trying to pass them off as original, and they're just not. And none of the submissions that I've seen today or in this batch has been moving on any level at all. You know, it's not like a Vanessa German, where it's clear. It's so friggin' clear, and it punches you in the chest, and you can't breathe when you're looking at her work. And I know it took her years to develop it. I mean, I remember Vanessa German, the sculptor and poet and whatever it's called, performer, that's not the word, whatever, I'm very tired. I remember when she was posting on Facebook 10 years ago? 10 or 13 years ago, 12 years ago. Yeah, no, I think it was like 13, 14 years ago, because we talked a lot, and I used to cheer her on like crazy. You know, we'd connect. And I'm such a proponent of her work and her clear messages and how strongly she feels about what she's doing. And her work is innovative and individual. The scope is magnificent. Her technical abilities are beyond brilliant. Her creative clarity. So someone like Vanessa German, has taken the time to develop work and work on herself and develop these ideas and these intents that are unshakable. So if she were to apply today for this fellowship, she would score 100 in all 4 categories: technical ability, scope, innovation, creative clarity. I might say, I might do that myself, but I'm not really sure I'd get 100. You know, I'm very clear on what I'm doing in each of the individual portfolios. I'm very clear on what I'm doing. I'm very clear on the level, on the intents, but also the different intents at different levels and different facets of what I do, because I'm that brilliant. But I'm just not seeing it here, and I'm feeling zero passion. It's really upsetting, because I'm looking at 2 artists' work here. Where it's nice, but quite honestly, two of the images they've submitted, I've seen in gift shops. I've seen the exact same ideas and forms of 3 of them. 5. Okay, never mind. All of them, all 10, in gift shops. And it's heartbreaking to me, because I really want to cheer people on. I want to say, here, take that and go. But if I can basically go to a hospital gift shop and buy the exact same thing, to cheer them on now would be not helpful. It's really upsetting. Okay, there's one that I haven't seen in a gift shop, but it's not original either. Again, we go back to Vanessa German. She's a punch to the chest. And there was an artist in the last fifth set of 50 who didn't score 100. I think she scored a 75 because the technical ability really wasn't quite there. It was getting there, but not quite there. The scope of her work, who it could touch, was pretty evident. The innovation wasn't quite there. The creative clarity was there. But it was in her proposal, in the artist's proposal, where it was made clear who she is, what she's doing, where she wants to be. I mean, her essays on her work were short, concise, straight to the point, simple, and genuine. And I felt her. I felt this person, this artist, and who they're working to be on a visceral level. So she was the one artist. I said she got a 75. That's nice. She's the one artist. I wrote the fellowship board and said, I would highly recommend that you consider this artist for a fellowship, and this is why. And I laid it out. She didn't even have a website. And I've gone through and researched, not in the MAGA way, but in I want to find out who you are way. I'm not looking to make shit up and just be nasty. I am actually digging through and trying to find people. This one artist, I couldn't find a website. I couldn't find social media. But I found a video that I believe it's a company she works for, made a feature about her. And I'm sure she's forgotten all about it. But she was interviewed and I saw her, and that didn't weigh on my decision to write the fellowship board. But what it helped to say to me was, I did get a clear understanding of who she is. A hard-working, driven individual with pretty clear intent and ideas. And I can see where she would just take this fellowship and fly. It was obvious she just needs time, support, money to get there. But I'm looking and compare it to these, to the applicants I'm looking at today. It's like I'm trying to get excited over watery, plain oatmeal. And they've used some flowery language and written these very long essays that really don't say anything. Whereas this other woman that I wrote the board about and said, please consider her. Her proposal was one paragraph long. I'm looking at one right now where it's 3-4 paragraphs long, and it's dribble. And then they've used, how do I put this? An ailment. There we go. An ailment kind of is a way to shoehorn their way in. I have two. I have two degenerative illnesses. I have two. And they're not fun, and they're serious, and I end up in a lot of trouble because of them, and very, very sick. But it would never occur to me to say, I have this illness, so feel sorry for me and give me although I do sometimes, give me this fellowship. I wouldn't put it on an application as a professional artist. I know that it can be used as leverage, but I just can't. I don't want that to be the focus. And that kind of It bothers me. That's not part of the grading system. It just bothers me. So that's what I'm looking at this morning. The strongest applicants, the strongest team that wants to work together. They don't have a website. I did go to their social. I looked them each up individually on social media, and there just really wasn't a lot. And they've been working together for quite a while, so they say. They have a massive proposal that's just kind of babbling on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs of blah 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 blah. And again, six syllable words, $20 words, whatever. It's oop, my phone. So this morning is hard. It's not hard. It's just sad, disappointing. Dear God. This is like a Dear Diary entry instead of a proposal. So I want you to hear what I'm saying. You know, I just made a joke. This is like a Dear Diary letter. Avoid that. Avoid writing that. Avoid, this is my suggestion to you. Avoid 6-syllable words. They're not fooling anybody. Avoid, in your proposals, writing about extraneous things. We don't need to know about the 50 projects you did. If we're interested, we'll look at your CV. And I tended to look at CVs and resumes after I had graded people, so that I'm not influenced by the fact that they've won, a Pulitzer. Because like with this one woman who got a 75, she hasn't won any awards. She's just been working. She has been doing what the people I mentor do. She's just been working and working and working. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's just throw in a name so that we'll understand how, whatever they are. That they actually read something about the fellowship. Ugh. And the sad part is the one that I'm reflecting on right now, they're the strongest ones, and they have nothing. Like, their social media is paltry. In fact, I found the images that they've submitted here in their only social media. So, again, keep the proposal short, 1 paragraph, focused on the fellowship or the exhibit or whatever. Make sure that you've done the work and you've cataloged it. You have if you can, get a website. You can actually build websites for free. Now, when I started, I had to use some horrible program. I took a computer class for it twice. It was just the worst. I had one of the teachers on my web development, in my web development class. She was actually the assistant. My last day with my website, and I had spent, I can't begin to tell you how much time writing it in code, because we had to. I mean, months of work. She came along and she goes, "Oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that." Deleted the entire thing, and I sat there just staring at what was my website in shock, because she had deleted the entire thing, laughed at me. I was like, "Well, you got to redo it anyway," and walked away. The blood drained out of my face. I almost passed out. And looking back, it was a very simple fix that I had to do throughout the website, and it was linking some things and getting Lightbox to work, where you click on an image and it blows up. that didn't exist within website programs then. You had to buy it. And I kept saying to the teacher, why is it we can't... This is how long ago it was. It was only probably 14 years ago, 13 years ago. But I said, I want to click on the image and have it blow up, expand. And she said, oh, no, we can't do that. You can't do that. And she said, what you have to do is download Lightbox, and that'll happen. You have to buy it and upload it, and then you can connect your images. Well, I hadn't done that yet. And I'm like, why doesn't this exist within the website program? And, well, technically it's too difficult, blah, 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 blah. Excuses why it doesn't exist. And then a few years later it did. So anyway, that cost me probably $5,000-$6,000 to do my website in the class and the programs and da-da-da. The travel to get there because it was a city away. Then, and there was no other class available anywhere else within, driving distance of me. But now we have Wix, which I happen to use. There's Square. There's all these all these websites that you can have for free. They're easier. They're so much easier than what I did. But they are available for free or for like $25, $35 a month. So why these people don't have working websites if they've been working together for 5, 10 years, 15 years, or even 2 years, 3 years, which I've already seen. It's beyond me. Put the effort in. Put the actual effort in. So write a clear, concise proposal. Keep it short. Nobody needs to know that you love walking dogs and that you clean up the poo afterwards. And actually mention the organization that you're applying to and tell them why you're applying. That's always helpful. Set up a website, set up social media. If you don't have a website, set up social media. That's free. Prove to the world, prove to yourself and the world that you are an artist. You may not be, shooting to the moon yet, but do you actually do the work? And if you have clear intent, try and state it. I actually have to go into my website and do that. But when I'm applying for things or writing letters or artist statements, I actually state, I think I do, state what I'm doing and why, and the various levels to that. So anyway, I'm going to close out and tackle this disappointing project. And then I'm moving on to developing work for Urbanite Theatre, where I'm the featured artist for the season 24-25 season. We have a show coming up called No One Is Forgotten, or they have a show coming up called No One Is Forgotten. It's about 2 women who, I just threw the script over there, but 2 women who are imprisoned in a windowless jail cell. Their relationship, how they keep each other alive, keep each other from falling apart. But they're in a windowless cell, jailed by unknown jailers in a prison. We don't know where the prison is. That information is never made clear. So No One Is Forgotten. I got to get work ready for No One Is Forgotten. And then 2, the artist residency coming up in March, April, where I'll have paintings available, but we'll also be working on an installation. So people will be invited in, and we're going to develop 3D flowers for an installation about inclusivity. I know, it's all typical. But there are themes within themes that have to be stated right now. I also have an organization that's going to be coming in and interviewing people, asking them how these times are affecting them. I have another set of podcasters or interviewers who want to come in and photograph people and interview them for basically the same thing. It'll be, I think with that set, it's going to be 3 to 5 questions. And so I'll have that up on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, all that information, but that's what I got to get ready for. All right, blah, blah, blah. On we go to hopefully not a disappointing day. But so far, oof, it hasn't started off well in this vegetable fruit juice mix I made. Kind of reflects these applications. Well, yeah, that has not earned a grade of 100. I mix in, did what I always do. I throw in a cucumber, cauliflower, and then I threw in a banana and some fruit, and I just hope for the best. It's edible. That's what counts. Oh, you know what I didn't put in? I also will throw in a mix of uncooked, don't even ask why, uncooked quinoa, flaxseed, and uncooked oatmeal. And who knows why? Who knows? Because it's edible and it's fine. Anywho, gonna go. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section or email me at becklane42, Becklane, BECKLANE 42 @gmail.com. Ciao. Meow, meow, meow.